So I want to just go very briefly into what's next for Devin Haney and the circus, ladies and gentlemen. The circus comes to town. So we got some clowns out here, man, and they're not funny, right? But first of all, shout out to the following channels: Blue Blood Sports TV, Aki TV. Shout out to you guys. Um, Aki brought up a really beautiful one with Javante Tank Davis's one of his coaches, Coach Kenny, and Coach Kenny broke it down. This fight's not, it wasn't close at all. Wasn't close at all. And for people, I saw it from the beginning. I scored it 8-4. Anyways, we're gonna go into this. What's next for Devin Haney? But first, let's just recap the fight a little bit. It's my scorecard. My scorecard was the first two rounds Devin Haney won. And then he won rounds 4 to round 8. And then he won round 12. Well, actually, I went back, watched the fight. Greg Hackett and Greg Hackett's channel, which is GTV, check it out. Greg Hackett's channel, man, GHTV, check that out on YouTube. Through the fight all over again. I didn't agree with everything, but he realized the fight was a draw. He began to realize Devin Haney had won a lot of rounds. In fact, he had Devin Haney winning the first 6 rounds. Now, I had given round 3 in my first, scoring of the fight. I had given round 3 to Lomachenko, and then when I watched the fight with Greg Hackett, I realized, oh shit, Devin Haney actually won the 3rd round. I'm gonna explain what happened in the 3rd round. Devin Haney consistently, like throughout the whole entire fight, Devin Haney was actually landing more punches on Lomachenko. I don't care what the punch stats say. Okay, he was landing more punches, and he was very consistent from the first minute of the round all the way up to the last minute of the round. Devin Haney was landing punches. The thing with Loma is Loma throw flurries. He throw 2, 3, 4 punch combinations, double lefts, double lefts. He double jab. He throw a whole set of combinations. Because of that, and usually most of those combinations was blocked or they didn't land. But it created an impression on people. You understand what I'm saying? But Loma wasn't throwing punches from the first time from the first minute of the round to the 3rd. It's Devin Haney doing that. So Devin Haney was the guy throwing single punches or 2-punch combinations on Loma. He particularly targeted the body, but he was also countering Loma when Loma tried to do aggressive attacks. Loma had difficulty closing the distance on Devin when Devin was long, and he also had difficulty getting to his preferred range because once Devin closed the distance on him, Devin was right up on him body to body. So Devin was fighting that mid range a little bit too, but for the most part, Devin was either right up on Loma, not clinching or anything, working on the inside, body to body, or he was outside of Loma, fighting him from range, or pivoting off to the side to throw his combinations. All right. For some reason, my internet is coming and going. There's all kinds of things going on here. My phone might just die because I have battery problems. Anyway, we just gonna focus on what we're talking about. So anyway, what I realized is Devin was the guy that was more consistent. Lomachenko was the guy that he would try and set up Devin, and he would try and throw a host of combinations, and he would try to work around him, or right, and that was the thing. But Loma wasn't really throwing a lot, right? Because 2 reasons. One, Devin was pushing him back at times. Sometimes Loma pushed Devin back, but for the most part, Devin would be pushing Loma back. Loma sometimes would try to come into the inside, and Devin be setting a trap for him. Sometimes now Devin trying to go at Loma, Loma trying to set a trap for Devin. So it was a cat and mouse game, almost all the way down to the final bell. But the point I'm making is Devin was consistently throwing punches. Consistently throwing. You got to stop that, YouTube. Loma was continuously throw a lot of punches in a small compressor to try to overwhelm Devin. But Devin defense would pivot with Loma, and so he would take away the angles. So Loma would be throwing a lot of punches, but Devin would block a lot of the punches as well. Don't get me wrong, Loma was very effective with his jab. He had a nice short little jab he would throw. He was very effective with that jab when he threw it. Of course, he didn't throw it very often because he would come with a double left. So he would align his body as if he's going to throw a hook, and his left hand is now closer. It's like a lead, and he just double it up and throw it, and it would catch Devin Haney and snap his head back. Right? Round three, I thought round three was a Loma round because Loma did throw a flurry in that round, and I thought it caught Devin Haney quite a lot, and I thought, hey, that's an exclamation point. He might have stole the round right there. Right? It was at the end of the round. I come to realize a lot of those punches didn't land, and Devin Haney actually countered him to the body while he was throwing punch. So yeah, he did catch Devin snapping back because Devin snapped back to pull counter him, and he did catch him with a nice little uh, one of his double lefts. He didn't catch him. He only catch him with one of the double lefts, and then he tried to throw a flurry in which Devin then ripped to his body. He ripped to the spleen area, and then he pivoted out. So I was watching all of that. I thought Loma had thrown a host of the punches because the way how the commentators were talking and everything, I was convinced what I was seeing was Loma taking over the end of the round, only to realize this was Devin Haney round. Devin Haney was landing consistently, right? Right hands to the body. He was ripping. He was throwing his jab, catching Loma sometimes with the jab. Loma would stay just outside the range of Haney's jab and try to position himself to get on the inside. But he would get caught with counter rights. Sometimes David Haney would rip the right up the center as an uppercut. Sometimes he would sweep it around the side like a hook and catch him on the spleen. Sometimes he'd shoot it straight and counter punch Loma and just hit Loma run into it. So Devin Haney was doing all kinds of things in that third round trying to heat up, right? So in the inside, once Loma clinched him, he was still working. He would still throw his punches on the inside. He whip up an uppercut with the left hand on the inside of Loma. Sometimes he would hook around it, or sometimes he rabbit punch him, hit him in the back of the head sometimes. And the referee warned him for that. But he was working on the inside. And when they got body to body or close to each other enough, Devin Haney would pivot in and rip that left hook right up the liver side or up the solar plexus of Lomachenko. So Lomachenko took a lot of body punches in that fight. But the thing I was trying to stress on with you guys is this. Devin Haney won that fight, and why that fight wasn't close. Did I give you guys all my scorecard? Not. So up to round 7, I had Devin Haney sweeping everything. Now, before that, I didn't have Devin Haney winning everything because Loma had won. I thought Loma had won round 3. But when I went to the fight with Greg Hackett, I realized, oh, snap. Devin Haney swept 7 rounds in a row. Greg Hackett gave round 7 to Lomachenko, where I thought Devin Haney did way too much body work in there, was landing consistently rights to the body, left hooks to the body. He even landed a right-left combination to Loma's head that stunned Loma for a second. Devin Haney was working, but for some reason, nobody was paying attention to that. Not even Greg Loma, because Loma up and he started landing. He landed, I think he landed 2 lead lefts in the whole round. He landed 2 lead lefts. Yes, it snapped Devin Haney's head back, and he also jabbed him with a jab and snapped his head back. But while that's happening, Devin Haney's landing a body punch. The reason Devin Haney got caught with the shot, and every time you're offensive, you're going to get hit with some shots when you're being offensively minded. And Haney was being offensively minded. He was pushing Loma back in those rounds. The reason why Devin Haney got caught with that shot is because he's going to the body. When you're going to the body, a guy can counter you to the head, but he still ripped those body shots in. So you can't just look at Loma, everything Loma did, and you're not watching what Devin Haney's doing. He's working continuously, landing shots continuously. Loma's having his spots, his bright spots in the thing. He's starting to land more punches on Devin. And that would happen because Devin is constantly working and he's pushing Loma back. It's going to happen. Now, when Loma started pushing Devin Haney back, right? He was pushing Devin Haney back, doing his little thing, his little feint thing. And Devin would take a step back and Loma would push him back that way. When he started doing that, Devin Haney, right? Devin Haney would go back into defense mode. Loma would throw a whole bunch of shots, and then Devin Haney would just wheel out the way. He would roll under Lomachenko's arm as he's swinging a hook or something, and he'd be back in the center of the ring. The point being, Devin Haney didn't get hit with nothing. Loma was active. And like, to me, I call this the Manny Pacquiao effect. I remember Manny Pacquiao winning round, I think it was round number 6. Manny Pacquiao did land that looping overhand left hook on Floyd. Floyd kind of got a little, he kind of got discombobulated for a second. But after that, Pacquiao landed nothing, y'all. Nothing. All those flurries, Floyd blocked every single one of the flurries. Pacquiao landed nothing. Yet they gave the round 6 to Pacquiao because he landed one shot. One shot from Pacquiao, a knockout us, right? So we can understand that shot had more effect on Floyd than all the shots that he was doing on Pacquiao. So they get Pacquiao around. Now, with the case of Loma, I can't give Loma round number 7 because he threw a flurry. He got like a double left. He had 2 left hands that land on Devin Haney. Meanwhile, Devin Haney beating up his body, landed 8, 9 body shots in the whole entire round. He's counter punching Loma. He's doing all kinds of things. He cartwheels and flips in that ring. And you gonna give the round to Loma, who ain't even a power puncher, because he threw 2 left hands and a jab? Wake up, people, man. Wake up. Seriously. So I couldn't give round 7 to Loma. Greg Hackett giving Loma rounds that he didn't earn. Meanwhile, Devin Haney's working hard and he's earning his rounds. And then they want to talk about the champion, and it was a close fight. Come on, man. Y'all need seriously, man. Come on, man. Dude be working. Now, round 8 was different. I gave Devin Haney round 8, and I look back at it and I say, that was a swing round. That's what you call a swing round, because both guys was answering each other. I mean, answering each other with power punches, with punches, with body punches. Loma actually threw body punches in that round. Okay, he threw the left liver shot twice in that round. Devin Haney constantly working the body. He was left rights to the body. He was just going at the body, right? All the time, right? That was the game plan. It was trying to break him down to the body. They was trying to stop him, but Loma, tough dude. And Devin Haney was counter punching. Loma would come back and counter punch. There was a counter to the counter. I mean, it was beautiful. That round is a swing round. That's what you call a swing round. Go watch round 8. You want to see what a swing round looks like? That's a swing round. Okay? Because both guys' activity was the same, almost the same. They were matching each other intensity for intensity. You can see Loma needed to get into the fight, and he was going to bully his way if he had to with Devin Haney. Devin Haney would just flip the script on him, and next thing, Devin Haney's walking him down. 1 minute, Loma's walking down Devin Haney. Next minute, Devin Haney's walking down Loma. It was great. 8th round was great. I'm not going to lie to you. And if Loma was a little younger, he might have had more of that coming down to the end, but it wasn't like that. He was working in spots. In that round, he wasn't working in spots. He was answering Devin. Devin was answering him. He was answering Devin. It was back and forth. It was real back and forth. They were landing on each other. There was it was lots of trick game, traps, all kinds of things was going on around 8. So I looked at round 8 and I was like, all right, cool. If they give it to Loma, I understand, because it's a swing round. This, you pick him, whoever you want. Nobody had an advantage in that round. Right? So that's a real round right there. That's a swing round. You can't have a guy working real hard in a fight, round after round after round. He's putting in work. He's landing shots. And you're going to get around another guy. He's not a power puncher or anything. You giving him based on the fact of who he is. And this is the problem. People are spellbound by Lomachenko and their commentary team. Oh, my goodness. For ESPN, man. They spellbound on the dude. it's already a pro Loma crowd. Come on, man. Y'all, come on, man. Y'all, come on. So I couldn't give round 7 like Greg Hackett did to Devin Haney. In fact, uh, after round 6, I think Greg Hackett gave Devin Haney 6 rounds, right? And he gave, after round 6, he gave Loma 7, 8. He gave Devin Haney round 9. I'm trying to remember if he gave, I think he gave Loma 6, round 6, round 7, right? He gave he gave Loma round 8. He gave Devin Haney round 9. And I thought Loma won round 9. When I went watch it with Greg Hackett, I realized Devin Haney won round 9, and Loma round 1. Or you could argue Loma. You could argue whichever way you want that Loma won round 8 because it was a very very competitive round, very competitive round, right? So if you gave round 8 to Loma, I would be like, that makes sense. I mean, I could understand that because Loma really stepped up his game. He was matching Devin Haney for intensity and everything. I think he got the last shot in. I can't remember. So I gave the round to Loma. Round 8. Round 9, I thought Loma took that round, but actually it was Devin Haney that took that round. Because again, Devin Haney was giving a lot of work. He was putting in a lot of work in that round, even though he was fatiguing. So his punches were not as crisp. His punches were not as strong. And Loma was pressing him more in round 9. So some people would look at it and say, well, Loma was pressing him more, but was he landing? You got to have effective aggression. You got to be landing something. Right? And he wasn't landing as regularly as Devin was. Devin was landing pretty regularly, especially to the spleen area, and he was counterpunching up the center to solar plexus. And I mean, ripping. I'm talking ripping shots, man. This ninja was ripping, right? But he was tired. You could see Devin was tired. He was starting to fade from since round 6 and breathing hard. I mean, he started breathing hard and shit. But the thing about it is, with Loma, you pivot in all the time. You on the pivot because he pivot plenty. Loma pivot plenty. He's always on the cusp of the outside of your reach trying to get in, right? But if you push him back, he can't really do nothing. So he will reset. He will circle out. That was another thing. Devin Haney was supposed to stop him from circling out, cut him off. He didn't do that too well, but it is what it is. So anyway, beautiful stuff though. Round 8 was, you could give that to Loma. Round 9, I gave it to Devin Haney. Now, initially, I did not give Devin Haney round 9. I gave Loma round 9. I gave Devin Haney. What did I give Devin Haney? I don't think I gave. I think I gave him round 8 for some reason. I don't know why. But it's the flip. It's the flip side of it. It's really Devin Haney should have gotten round 9, and Loma should have gotten round 8, and then round 10. Round 10 was the definitive round. Devin Haney, you could see he was tired. You could see he needed a break. By the way, Loma was tired. Loma was tired himself because Devin Haney was hitting him with so many body punches, and you know when you watch them go to the corners, both of them was getting tired, right? Devin Haney was beating on Loma's body, and Devin Haney, because weight drain and all that, and then the intensity of the fight and just the pace of the fight, Devin Haney was tiring as well, right? So both of them was tiring. It was really good. It was a good throwdown. It was a good throwdown. I'm not gonna lie. I really enjoyed it. So they were both tiring, but round 10, oh my God. And this is why I think people think that Loma won the fight. Loma went ham in round 10. I mean, Loma found a way to get past Haney's defense. And I mean, Haney was still dipping and rolling, so he's kind of riding the shots, but he was getting hit in his head. It reminded me of when Linares was beating up on him in round 11. It's the same thing, but he was prepared for that. So he was pivoting, and then he was staying close to Loma. So Loma had to shorten up a lot of his shots. So Loma wasn't hitting him as regularly, but he was still hitting him in the head. Got like 3, 4, 5 shots in on Devin. Not clean shots, but he got some shots in. And then of course he hurt Devin initially, and Devin actually stumbled back. You saw him stumble back, and then man, Loma started putting it on him, and that was the best round of the fight. To be honest with you, it was the most dominant round of the fight. Loma had pulled off the most dominant round of the fight. The rounds were good, but nobody had gotten buzzed. Loma taking some nasty body shots. But of course, you don't get buzzed by a body shot. So he just kind of crunch in and go oof. And I think in the sixth round, Devin Haney hit him with a spleen shot, and Loma lift his foot. That's how nasty that shot was. Devin's nasty, man. I don't know about y'all, but he nasty, dude. So anyway, um, round 10 was definitively a Loma round. Some people wanted to give it 10-8. It's up to you. It's up to you what you wanted to do with that round, right? But Devin Haney weathered that storm, and it shows what kind of guy it is. This dude is strong, and imagine he's weight drained and he's strong like that. I'm saying something to people. I want y'all to register that. Devin Haney being hit by a power puncher in Jorge Linares, who hits like a truck. Jorge Linares didn't just hit him with one punch. He hit him with three. Three punches. Devin Haney did not fall. He was buzzed like stupid. He did that little Adrian Broner. He did that drunken dance. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't go down. Right? And I give it to two things. He's young, so his youth allowed him to bounce back, and then his conditioning is ridiculous. Because anybody else got caught with that 3-punch combination, it knock you out, man. Knock you completely. All your senses gone. And Linares did it so fast. And Lomachenko's kind of similar. He's got an awkward style, and he also quick with it. And Loma hit him, I think he hit him with a two-piece combination. He hit him with a right hand. He hit him with a left hook. He hit him with a left hand right hook. Devin Haney went. He did the shuffle, and that really capitalized everything. That was like Pacquiao hitting Floyd, and Floyd kind of did he was discombobulated for a minute in the 6th round. It's the same thing, and that wins you the round. Clearly, it don't matter what Devin Haney does after that. He ain't gonna win the round. You know what I'm saying? And Devin Haney put in some good work in that round too. But you gotta give that round to Loma. Again, it's not just about how many punches you throw; it's how effective you are. And Loma was effective in round 10. You know what I mean? He missed a lot of shots too, because Devin, he was on his defense and stuff. But you got to give. I mean, that round told you everything, right? Round 11, Loma round. Nobody disputes this. This was a Loma round. Devin was much more composed. His defense was much more on point. Loma was still landing certain shots. They were still playing chess. But Loma landed the definitive shots, and Devin Haney wasn't as active. He wasn't landing as much body punches as before because he was still recouping from round 10. And he was still trying to gather his wind. He was trying to gather himself to make one last big stand. So in the 12th round, that's what he did. Loma started off the aggressor in the 12th round, and I think he got one left hand in, and then Devin, it was a jab. I can't remember which one, snapped Devin's head back, and then after that, Devin kind of took it over, and he was landing body shots. He was really ripping some nice body shots on Loma. He was beating him up pretty bad. And when Loma tried to clinch him, because Loma went in for the clinch, he was still working on him. So he kind of went back to the original, what he was doing. He established his jab again, and he was circling Loma, and he took that round, right? Loma obviously would have been trying to recoup from the last 2 rounds that he expended all that energy, trying to get Devin Haney, in trouble. So anyway, the long and short of it is, I scored the whole thing. When I looked at it, I realized that Devin Haney won basically 8 rounds going into the 12th. And Loma had taken 3 rounds, but he had 2 really strong rounds. Round 10 and round 11 were really 2. Round 8 was anybody's guess, but I'm going to give him round 8. You know what I'm saying? But 10 and 11 was, the championship rounds, he was like a champion there. But he didn't close the show in emphatic style. He waned off. Devin Haney was able to ward off his surge and win the 12th, right? Now, I'm saying all of this so you guys get a right picture about the fight, because my boy Coach Kenny would agree with me. This fight wasn't close. This was not a close fight. This was not a no draw. All right. Devin put in too much damn work in this fight to get a draw. Now, if Loma had dropped him, or even if you score round 10, a 10-8 round, right? Score round 10, a 10-8 round. You score, you give Lomachenko the questionable round 7. Let's just be generous, right? So Lomachenko took round 7, right? He took round 8, right? We give him round 7, round 8. We give him round 10. We give him round 11, and we make round 10 a 10-8 round, right? Haney still wins. Haney still wins. Hard work, dedication. Boy. You gotta put in that work. Haney been putting in that work. You see what I'm saying? Because that just shows you the fight wasn't close. But perception is one thing, right? If a guy makes a round really exciting because he throws a lot of flurries, changes the tempo of the fight, and throws a lot of flurries, obviously you're gonna be looking at that guy because he's more exciting than the other guy, it seems, because the other guy's throwing 1 or 2 punches at a time, right? Sorry about that. My battery again went. My battery's not working properly, so I have it in a charger, but sometimes the phone overheats and it just shuts down, and I have to get the phone to cool down before I can come back. So that's what happened. Shout out to everybody that be participating in the chat. Shout out to I think it's, let's see who it is. I'm trying to get you. There it is. Boxing Monster was in the building. He said Haney won 7-5, 115, 113. I don't see why everyone's so. Just not, brother. Your command just disappeared on me. Everyone's so upset. Devin's body punching was impressive. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I didn't get 7-5. I didn't have it that close. I didn't have it that close either. Even though the judges had it 7-5, I had it 8-4 initially. And now I'm trying to tell y'all, Haney took, in my opinion, Haney took round 12, round 9, and then all the rounds from 1 to 7. Basically saying, after watching it again, I Haney 9-3. Devin Haney. Loma got 3 rounds, and Devin Haney got 9 rounds. But if you want to be general, you want to give Haney, you want to give Loma, say, maybe round 7 or whatever. So Loma gets 7 and 8. Then he gets 10 and 11. Cool beans. You know what I mean? Cool beans. But I'm like Coach Kenny, man. Coach Kenny, Blue Blood Sports TV said he had it 8-4. I had it 8-4 as well. My initial thing was 8-4. But I thought Loma had gotten round 3. I thought he'd taken round 3. So I had him have, I thought he had round 3, round 9, round 10, and round 11. On rewatching it with Greg Hackett put it out there. He was commenting on the stuff too. But I was seeing things that he wasn't seeing, obviously, because he's probably looking at one guy. The thing with boxing is this. Sometimes you follow only one guy, and you're not giving credit to the other guy and what he's doing. Like with me, I give credit to Loma for what he was doing as well. I was watching a boat, fellas, right? I was enjoying the fight because it was a good fight. Loma impressed me. You know what I mean? You know, true warrior, man. This dude overcame reach and height, you know, using not just his angles, but his counterpunching skills. You know, when Haney, there's a reason why Haney at certain points wasn't throwing the jab. It was because Loma took it away for a minute because Loma was countering, and then Haney started countering. Sometimes he would land hook, and it started to make some very interesting exchanges, you know. And Haney pulled out a lot of tools from his toolbox that we never seen him do. So it was really good. It was good. It was. Let me say, man, and a lot of people will agree with this. This was a good fight. This was a good fight. Competitive fight. Very competitive fight. Haney did come to impose his will and size on Loma, but Loma wasn't having that. You know, in fact, Loma threw down Haney, if you do remember, in, I believe it was the second or third round, Loma actually threw Haney down. Loma knows a little bit of martial arts, of course. He threw him down. And even in the clinches, Loma would try and rough up Haney sometimes. Sometimes Haney would get the better of Loma. So it was good. It was a good fight. And all we want in boxing is good fights. When the best face the best, this is what you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not tripping, and like, I'm just telling you, it wasn't a close fight like people making it out to be. It was actually a very competitive fight. But I had Haney being the more consistent guy, the guy putting in more of the punches. He was landing more of the punches. And I don't care what CompuBox or what they say. I was watching my two eyes. I saw what I saw. But they were both interchanging. But they were sometimes in the same round. You know, one would be aggressive, one would be the counter puncher. Then they switch up, and one would be the aggressive, one would be the counter. So you saw a beautiful variety of all kinds of things going on in that fight. And tactically speaking, these both guys are just brilliant. It's just that Devin Haney invested in the body mostly, while Loma was more head hunting, right? But like I said before, round 8 was different. Loma was throwing body shots. He was throwing. I mean, it was beautiful. It was beautiful seeing both guys, and they were landing things. It wasn't like Loma was. Sorry about that. This is my internet. The 8th round was a round where you want to do a film study on that. That is, it's one of the best rounds of the entire fight. Tactically, offensively, defensively, we need the 8th round because that was quite a dance that those two guys put on there. They put on a hell of a show, by the way. And what you really need to understand is boxing is about entertainment. So yes, you want to win, but this was a highly entertaining fight. Devin Haney's last 2 fights have been highly entertaining. You know, Haney's taken some damage for it, but in both fights, he beat up the other guy. Now, in the case of Loma, you ain't gonna see the extent of the damage because Haney was wailing on his body. So let's Loma show you his body and how blue his body is from that beating. And even though Loma's face was lumpy as well, right? His face was lumped up a bit, because Haney did land some hard right hands to his face. And if you look at the picture that I put for this video, he's landing a right hand on Loma, right? Loma's tough though. He tough. If it was somebody else, Haney might have got him out of there. So Loma built. He's a fighter, man. He a fighter to his core. I understand him crying, with frustration and sadness because he gave it his best. So and in the moment he would think he's winning. Of course, he knew he wasn't winning, and that's why he was pressing the gas on Devin in the 10th and the 11th round, right? He knew he had to catch up because he started late. But the point is that this was a highly competitive fight, and sometimes scores do not really reflect how competitive a fight is. A fight can be extremely competitive, but not close, right? A fight can be close, but not highly competitive. Okay? And what do I mean by that? One guy could win, dominate the entire round. Then the next guy comes back the next round because that guy's gassed or whatever, and dominate that round. So it's not highly competitive. You see? A highly competitive fight is where both guys in the same round are doing things that they want to do and getting results that they want to get, and there's an ebb and flow. One guy might be more consistent or doing more of the better work, but there's an ebb and flow, and you just don't know what could happen, right? So that's a highly competitive fight, right? So you could have a close fight where guys are sweeping rounds. First round, this guy blew out the other guy. Then there's a momentum shift, and the other guy is blowing out the other guy. And then there's a momentum shift, and the other guy is blowing out the other guy. And it just keeps on going like that. The fight's not really competitive. The rounds are not competitive. Let's say the rounds are not competitive. But the fight is close because guys, in fact, a fight can end in a draw because it's a back and forth, round by round. One guy's answering the other guy, but in rounds. So one guy's dominating the round. Next guy comes in, he dominates the next round, and then the other guy turns around and dominates the next round. Or you got two rounds dominating in it, then the other guy comes back and answers. Right? It's competitive, yes, but it's not competitive rounds. Right? We had competitive rounds where both guys were doing things that they wanted to do, but one doing it more to with a greater extent. So that was the fight we got. We got guys fighting. Loma fought at mid range when he could. Devin Haney would allow him to fight at mid range because Devin Haney would counter him. And sometimes again, Devin Haney would fight long. Sometimes again, Devin Haney would fight right up in the pocket in fighting with Loma, which I thought was very impressive. So there was a lot of variety. Loma mostly fight at mid range. He wasn't really doing much fighting. He wasn't throwing much punches, that is, from outside, obviously, because his reach, right? You can't reach Devin Haney when he's outside. So he wasn't throwing much of it. He was there. He wasn't really doing much work on the inside either. Devin Haney got more busy on the inside. So Devin Haney had more versatility, and because of that, Devin Haney was able to do more things and do more. All right, so I covered all of that, but that's not what this video is about. But I wanted to make it abundantly clear with the recap that Devin Haney won this fight. Okay? And just like how Teofimo Lopez was close, but Teofimo Lopez won the fight, I didn't think Teofimo Lopez, the fight was close either. I thought Teofimo Lopez won 8 of the 12 rounds. I had it 8-4. And initially, I also thought that Devin Haney won 8 of the 12 rounds when I scored the fight the first time. Okay? Second time around, I could easily see it being 9-3. I agree with Coach Kenny with respect that Lomachenko was doing things in spurts, right? He wasn't really except round 8. Round 8, he was really responding, and he was keeping fluence, and he was very consistent in round 8. But most of the other rounds, he never had the opportunity to really be that consistent. Round 10 was another round, and round 11 was another round. But round 10 was more of a certain shot that he got Devin Haney with and hurt him, and then he started throwing flurries. And he threw flurries, and I think he emptied his tank a little too much. Because round 11, he tamed down, and then by round 12, he wasn't really doing much of anything. So I think that he kind of emptied his tank. You know, as a veteran, he was trying. What I think their game plan, I think Loma's game plan was this, and his father was this. Their game plan was they knew that Devin, but it backfired, right? Devin Haney was able to weather that storm, come back, and take the 12th round, right? Okay, so 9-3, 8-4 is where I come from. Y'all could say a whack. I heard, man, they some clowns out here. Right? I'm gonna use code. TB's a clown. Well, TB's acting like a clown right now. Right? In fact, Lion Slayer, what's his name? Lion Slayer, the Lion Slayer podcast. He was making fun of him. He called TB. He said it's Loma baiting. He's Loma baiting. He Loma baiting. You know what I'm saying? TB still trying to defend Loma. TB is still trying to defend Loma. Oh, the fight could have gone either way, and I'm hearing this bullshit. The fight could not go either way. This was a clear win for Devin Haney. Just like how the fight did not go either way when it came to Teofimo Lopez. In fact, the fight went very much similar to what happened with Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez took the early rounds. Loma came on in the late middle stage of the fight. the late 4 rounds, late 3 rounds, whatever, and then Teal closed the show. Okay, very much this is a similar thing that happened with Devin Haney. The difference is the hate that Devin Haney's getting from both professionals in the sport and the fans that were out there that were booing him. All right, and I believe I know why. Which leads me now to what's next for Devin Haney. When I hear guys like Nelly and guys like Bozy talking, I know why. I know why. I'm going to tell y'all what's the deal with Devin Haney. Y'all agree with me or disagree? Devin Haney is hell-bent on fighting the best. And as Blue Blood Sports TV said, I think it was Blue TV, Devin Haney therefore wants to face your favorite fighter. Your favorite fighter. And you don't want to see Devin Haney face your favorite fighter because you're afraid that Devin Haney would beat your favorite fighter because he's so eager to face the best and test himself against the best. That's the truth of the situation. That's why Devin Haney's getting the hate. That's why the Nevada State Athletic Commission's trying to find Devin Haney. So many boxers been pushing people. Canelo, Tank, they've been pushing people. Nevada State Athletic Commission ain't doing shit. But now they want to find it because they know what a threat this guy is. So what's next for Devin Haney? I did a short. I heard professionals in boxing saying that Tank and Shakur would beat Devin Haney based on his performance with Lomachenko. Okay, then fight him then. Fight him then. Bob Arum, Mr. What's his name? Jay Prince, Mr. Jay Prince, release Shakur. So he's gonna say no. Top Rank, release Shakur so he can face Devin Haney next. Tank Davis. Your own trainer, Coach Kenny, said Devin Haney won that fight clear. There ain't no if, buts, or maybe. Coach Kenny. If Devin Haney's such easy food, he undisputed. Go grab them 4 belts, Tank. Face Devin Haney then. I'm going to say this, though. I'm going to say this first and foremost. I respect Tank. I respect Shakur. But I got more respect for Devin Haney. I'm going to tell you why. Everybody's sizing up Tank and Shakur. Name one fighter that Tank or Shakur has faced that's on the level of either Jorge Linares at lightweight. I'm only talking at lightweight. On the level of Jorge Linares or on the level of fighter. On the level of those guys. Them 3 names. Each of those 3 names I just mentioned, Loma, Linares, and Kambosos, were all the number 1 lightweight in the division by accomplishments. Because boxing is not about this. It's about what you do. It's about what you do. It's what you do. Nobody gives a damn about what they see and blah, 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 blah. No, it's what you do. You're not going in the Boxing Hall of Fame because, oh, man, the eye test. Yeah, the eye test. So he's going to, no, you have to accomplish something. You got to do something. Tank Davis is a hell of a fighter. Shakur Stevenson is a hell of a fighter. Nobody's going to dispute that. Okay? But to test how much of a hell of a fighter you are, you got to face the competition. The best competition Shakur Stevenson has faced so far is Oscar Valdez. He was the number 1 super featherweight, and he wasn't a seasoned veteran of the sport. he was green in that. That's what I mean by green. I don't mean he was green because he's a two-time world champion by that point. Okay? But that's his best win. He has faced two world champions, former or present. He faced Jamal Herring and he faced Oscar Valdez. Became unified champ. And credit to Shakur Stevenson. The way how he beat them was great. But he did not beat a Lomachenko. He did not beat a Jojo Diaz. Listen to me. Jojo Diaz is a veteran of the sport. Got a lot of experience. Faced a lot of world champions. Oscar Valdez didn't have that experience. You understand what I'm saying? See, Devin, smart like Canelo. Devin fought veterans of the sport because they experienced the knowledge and the skill. He will share the ring, not sparring. He shared the ring in real when they gunned for his ass. And he picked up things from them. Devin is more equipped. Devin's on the next level because he faced Lomachenko. He on another level now. This ain't sparring. Tank. What is the best fighter Tank has faced? The best fighter, most accomplished that is. The best fighter Tank has faced is Leo Santa Cruz. He's had some other great names. Some guys that went on to do greater things like Jose Pedraza. His first world championship. Jose Pedraza. Very good fighter, but he wasn't a veteran of the sport. He'd been a world champion for a bit, avoided world champion because of his skills in Puerto Rico, but he wasn't a veteran of the sport. Now, Leo Santa Cruz was a veteran of the sport when Tank faced him. And Leo brings a whole set of different tools to the game. And so Tank actually raised his game by facing Leo. So I'm going to have some problems with the internet. It's just coming and going. A lot of shit is happening right now. But anyway. But Leo was not the number one super featherweight in the world. I want you to understand what I'm saying. In fact, Tank has never faced the number one champion of any division he's been in. So he's never tested himself to the ultimate heights. In fact, Vasily Lomachenko, super featherweight, wanted to face Tank Davis. Floyd Mayweather said, I'm going to talk to Bob Arum, we're going to make that fight happen. And Tank did not want that to happen. And Tank did not take up the offer. In fact, he said, Floyd wants to make me lose. Because Tank had a lot of respect for Loma. Tank didn't believe he could beat Loma at this point in time in his career. He had the opportunity. Meanwhile, Devin Haney chasing down Loma. Wanted to fight for 4 years. Because he understood sharing the ring with such a legend gives you experience. Experience and knowledge. 4 years later, the ring with Lomachenko. And I fired up Lomachenko because he pushed him. 1, 2, the ultimate to become undisputed. This was the quest of Lomachenko, which I pray God he does not abandon. Vasily Lomachenko, do not retire from boxing. Your time is not yet. I hope you don't. I think you can become undisputed at super featherweight. 1, 2. If you stick around lightweight long enough, Devin Haney's going to go. All those belts are going to go to somebody. You're going to get that chance again. And it don't have to take 10 years if people fight people. Devin Haney's willing to fight everybody. He's not saying no to the top guys. Which leads me to my point. Tank says he's the best in the division. I'm not. I'm gonna say this: the most logical fight for Devin Haney next. The most logical fight for Devin Haney next is Javante Tank Davis. It's not Shakur Stevenson. I'm gonna tell you why. Shakur ain't done nothing at lightweight. Tank has done a lot at lightweight. He ain't fight the top guys, but he has 4 top 10 guys, right? Pitbull Cruz, top 10 fighter. Ryan Garcia was a top 10 fighter at lightweight, right? Been at lightweight for a minute now, right? Raleigh Romero is no Raleigh right now the WBA super lightweight champion. When Tank faced him, but he's now a world champion. So Tank's been at lightweight and he's done something at lightweight. He has a secondary WBA title, which lines him up to face Devin Haney. Lines him up to face Devin Haney. He's right there. Shakur is there to face Devin Haney as well. I mean, Shakur, he had a fight with a Japanese guy, stopped him, or at least the referee stopped the fight, and because the guy was taking a beating, and Shakur has some experience in boxing, but he doesn't have the experience that Tank has. I think Tank has more experience in boxing. He's a seasoned veteran of the sport now. I think Tank would be a better opponent for Devin Haney than Shakur. I think Shakur's still green. I think they're protecting him up rank in terms of Shakur calling out everybody, but to be honest with you, I don't think he's going. I don't think he's going to face Devin Haney next. I don't think so. Even though he's with top rank and all of that, I think that Tank fight makes a lot of sense because Tank, first of all, he's one of the faces of boxing. If he's not the face of boxing after fighting Ryan Garcia, I think the Tank's accolades, his explosiveness, the fact that he's been knocking out people left, right, and center, I think that makes for a much more exciting fight with Devin Haney than Devin Haney versus Shakur Stevenson. Shakur Stevenson is very gifted, very skilled fighter. People think he could beat Devin Haney. I think Shakur is a little too green to face Devin Haney right now, and I know a lot of people disagree with me in that. But I think Shakur's on the up and up. I think Shakur should keep chirping now. I think he's, trying to antagonize Devin Haney, and he's like, I think that's good. I think they sized up each other when they were in the gym a while back. So I know Shakur and Devin going to throw down. Do I think it's going to be at lightweight? Maybe. Maybe Devin takes on Tank, and then he takes on Shakur after if he wins against Tank. So that may be a possibility. But what I could say is, of the two fighters, Shakur and Tank, Shakur ain't done nothing. He absolutely has done nothing at lightweight. He's done nothing, right? He was a super featherweight champion. So if you want a junior featherweight champion, if you want to say, well, you former unified champion of junior featherweight jumps up and faced, the undisputed lightweight champion. You can phrase it that way. But I think the first guy that they should go at is Tank. And I think Nelly and Bootsy behaving the way they are is because they afraid Devin gonna face Tank. And I think a lot of people and even the organization, Floyd said that Devin won't face Tank. Now, that's when Tank was with Mayweather Promotions, and that Devin gonna move up to 140, and then up the line, maybe welterweight or whatever. They may hook up, but I think the time is right now for Devin to face Javante Tank Davis. I think this is it right here. And I think Javante is seasoned enough, he's disciplined enough now and mature enough to take on Devin and make that fight very competitive as well. I think it'll be a very competitive fight. I don't think Tank's going to land his money punch, though. I think Devin is going to be more on his P's and Q's than he's been before. So, but Devin versus Tank, I think, is the next. That makes the most sense to me. I think that's going to be a huge fight. Devin's now like a villain out. So I think that definitely could happen. Chris Oriole says, "What's up? What? Yeah, man, I'm cool, man. I'm cool, bro. Boxing Monster says, let's see Shakur versus Loma before. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Screen's giving me trouble. My phone's giving me trouble. Before Shakur gets a crack at the belts. I mean, I don't want Loma to be a stepping stone though. I don't think he's a stepping stone. I think he's an A-side fighter. Um, Loma need to get some wins under his belt. So I think he should go down to 130, but it's up to him. If you want to stay at lightweight, but I don't think he's going to jump at face. He wants to be undisputed. So, and Shakur, nothing. Why did you just face Shakur? That ain't making no sense. You know what I'm saying? Chris Oriel says, I got Tank, man. Tank against Devin? All right, nothing. I just want to see the fight. When they sign on the dotted line, I'm going to start to chirp. Until then, I'm not saying nothing. I'm not saying nothing. I just want to see the fight. So make these great fights happen. If Devin can't make 135 anymore, go up to 140, take on Regis Prograis. There's Josh Taylor up there. There's Mateus up there. There's Raleigh Romero up there. There's Ryan Garcia there. There's Teofimo Lopez up there. So there's a lot of fights up there for Devin Haney. You know what I'm saying? Top ranked fighters and everybody. So Boxing Monster says Haney is greater than Tank. Yeah, at present he is because he faced the better competition and everything. But I would love to see that fight with Haney versus Tank and how they would approach it and everything. You know what I'm saying? But Shakur chirping in the background. He might be an option. Haney versus. The thing about it is up to Bob Arum and Japes if that fight will happen. And I don't think Bob Arum is going to just sacrifice. He ain't going to sacrifice unready Shakur at Devin Haney at winning, but Shakur, bruh, it's a totally different ball game when you get in the ring with Devin after facing Lomachenko. It's gonna be different, bro. That's all I'm gonna say. You looking good right now, but competition is you're gonna be stepping up high up in the competition because this dude been facing Jorge Linares. He been facing some guys. He been facing some dudes, and his competition been stiff. You ain't been facing that. That neither you nor Javante is facing that kind of stiff competition. Javante, I mean, hell of a fighter again. Shakur has a weak resume. I wouldn't say his resume is weak. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that because Oscar Valdez is a hell of a fighter. You know what I mean? Oscar Valdez is a hell of a fighter. Jamal Herring, a hell of a fighter. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying his resume is weak. I'm just saying I don't think he's ready yet for the step because Haney got that experience now. He got experience from Jorge Linares, right? He got experience now from Lomachenko. He got experience from Jojo Diaz. After the Jojo Diaz fight, I knew Haney could take on anybody because Jojo ain't no fucking joke, y'all. He's not a joke. He's not a joke. And Haney's showing you all kinds of things now. He can fight on the inside. He can fight on the outside. He can fight at mid-range. He working the body now. Haney's a problem. All right? Haney's a problem. That's all I'm going to say. I ain't going to... Y'all, a lot of people talking about Haney and he the villain and things. Y'all did not paying attention to what this dude be doing in the ring. He be pivoting like a motherfucker. You already know Lomachenko pivot and all of that. But Haney be matching Loma pivot for pivot. Y'all don't understand how much movement that was in that ring. Tank don't move like that. Shakur don't move like that. It's a lot of energy you expending facing Lomachenko. You got to be in a P's and Q's all the time. You know what I mean? Haney, something else, man. Haney doing all kind of things. All right, he ain't doing it perfectly like Shakur. Shakur master what he do. You know what I'm saying? But he get to practice on lesser competition. You get what I'm saying? If the pressure on him, he will break form. He ain't gonna always be that tight. You get what I'm saying, people? You gotta understand what I'm saying. Tank been looking exceptional. He looking good against a certain level of competition, right? Ryan Garcia still was green, right? He was green, a little bit wild. You know what I'm saying? Rolly Romero, you know, he's achieved quite a lot for his skill set, you know. But if Tank was think that it wasn't a robbery, the stoppage that happened with Raleigh, I think Raleigh was going to murk that dude. It was going to kill him, right? Because Raleigh was throwing bombs, all right? I just thought it was a premature stoppage. But what I'm seeing, Haney didn't fall for the angles. Yeah, he didn't fall for the angles of Lomachenko. Lomachenko had to counter punch him instead. And Haney was countering the counter, and it was crazy, man. Loma's a hell of a fighter, though. He a hell of a fighter. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna try to front. You know, Loma was doing it. He was doing his thing. Um, just not enough and not often. It was unfair to Barroso. What, dude? I wouldn't say that. Now, Tony Weeks was erring on the side of caution. It's a 40-year-old man, right? He got hit with a shot, and he was bowing down. He was still using his defense and everything, but going downhill. I was going downhill pretty fast. Okay, Raleigh was dominating that round from beginning to end. He was getting aggressive because the guy was fading. Dude is fading. And something nasty could have happened. And over the same weekend, I think on the Friday, a Filipino boxer had died. So, it's fucking internet. Boxing Monster said, what? What do you say there, brother? I'm trying to see you. I can't see you anymore. Boxing Monster says Shakur looks great against tailor-made opponents. Let's see it versus Loma or someone else before crowning him. Yes, exactly. So, it's not all tailor-made opponents. He's fighting different kinds of opponents, and Top Rank is bringing him along nicely. But shit, it's different in there. You sparring a dude, that's one thing, but it's different in there when you got those 8-ounce gloves and a guy coming to take your head off. He ain't playing. You know what I'm saying? It's different. So they look tailor-made because he's so good. Fighting a certain, and Top Rank's moving him around really nice. Jay Prince is moving him around. He doing well because he's developing by leaps and bounds. Terrence Crawford be backing him up and promote, really boasting him up and shit. They know when the right time is for Shakur. Just like I didn't know the right time for Devin Haney. Devin Haney be calling for fights, but he didn't get the fights that. And if Loma had caught Devin earlier, it really leads to a point. Would Devin have actually beaten Loma? No, but he would have gotten a lot of experience, though. You know what I'm saying? He'd have gotten experience. So, because Loma's something, man. Loma is something. It's not just any or everybody could just beat Loma like that. Because his timing, how he times it, and how how he would catch you on the offbeat as it's coming in. He really is great. So who's next? I think it should be Tank. I think it should be Tank. And the fact that both you guys are split, Chris Oreo saying he want Tank, and Boxing Monster saying he goes for Haney. This is the fight that need to happen. This fight need to happen. Tank versus Haney. It mightn't happen immediately because on Tank's side they may say nah. But seriously, that's a good fight. I don't think Tank's knocking out Devin Haney, but that don't mean that Tank can't win the fight because Tank can box. You understand what I'm saying? So it don't mean that Tank can't win the fight on points. And this is something that people underestimate Tank's boxing. You understand what I'm saying? Tank's smart. He's crafty and he has nice footwork. Haney got good footwork, but Tank got better footwork, I think. I think so. Because he makes smaller and smaller steps. Haney feints his movements to step. But Tank makes small steps. He makes incremental steps, changing the angle all the time. So it would be really good to watch Tank versus Haney. I don't know exactly who would win. Who would I favor right now? Shit, I'm not sure. I'm not sure who would win that fight. I'm being honest. There's so many different scenarios. That's a good ass fight. I would love to see that fight because I'm not sure. That's a great fight. So um, I'd love to see it. I love to see it. So I think that should be the next fight. That'll be a huge fight. Um, it'd probably be on Showtime. Um, um, even though Haney's with Top Rank and ESPN right now, it'd probably be on Showtime. A lot of people think that Haney would get caught with Tank and be vulnerable. I just don't see it. Haney too smart a fighter, and I'm pretty sure he kind of knows what Tank brings to the table, or he thinks he knows at least. So I think when they study Tank and break him down, they'll know what kind of game plan to use with Tank. Will Tank catch Devin Haney? Absolutely, he'll catch him. But that you're not gonna knock out Devin Haney with one punch. He's tough. And yes, he's at 135. He's gonna be a little bit drained down the stretch. All of that's gonna happen, but you're not just gonna knock out that dude. Nobody's knocked him down. Far less knock him out. I don't think so. That's my thoughts. Maybe I'm wrong. He should be at 140 or all. He should have been 140 at least 2 fights ago. To have them on his resume, he wants to beat them. Win, lose, or draw, you can't fault Devin Haney. He wants to fight the best names, the biggest names. He wants to be great. I think Devin is moving up to get the. He can't just jump into that fight though. He has to. First test the water. Yeah, my internet's playing the ass. Yeah, but that's a great fight. Uh, versus Teo or Taylor winner. But I don't think Taylor's going to stick around at 140 for much longer. I think he's going to move up to 147. Versus Prograis is a good fight as well. Regis Prograis don't play. So it'll be welcome to the 140 division if Haney faces Regis Prograis. Now Prograis is a bad boy. He looking to hurt you. So if Haney don't have, you know, the power, it's gonna be a long night for Haney. You know what I'm saying? But you got Regis Prograis, you got Subriel Mateus, and you got Rolly Romero. So all of those are great fights at 140 for Devin Haney. But we want to see the Tank fight. I think Devin Haney gonna hang around for a Tank fight. I think he's gonna hang around for a Tank fight, which would be good. Again, I wouldn't care. I'm not going to try and say who would win. I just want to see the fight, and the fact that Devin wants to face any one of those guys to me is wonderful because he's my internet keeps on coming and going, so it's playing up its ass. So I love that anyway. So salute to everybody out there. I think you know maybe he gets the Shakur fight and he fights Shakur. Shakur is another guy who wants to face Devin. Devin wants to face Shakur. The question is, will all of that's awesome. So anyway, I'm what you need. I thought I'd share my thoughts on that. I'm gonna catch you guys later. For the clowns out there that be saying, you know, you don't know boxing. For the clowns that be saying that out there, shut up, please. Just don't talk. Listen to everybody. Don't say nothing. That goes for you, TB, and that goes for you, Mr. PM. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.